I'll call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's crazy.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Welcome to the Richland Bean Blossom Community School Corporation regular school board meeting for December 16th, month of December 2025, which is ending soon. Let the record reflect that all board members are present. Was there anyone who wanted to speak from the public? Okay, so seeing no visitor comments, we'll go straight to the Mustang moment, which we're excited to have Edgewood Intermediate School. Dr. Sanders.
Yeah, I'm going to have Mr. Scholl come up here and introduce the group, but in the spirit of what we're trying to do here at Edgewood Schools, you know, we have several student-run businesses at the high school, and we've learned how really effective it is to have our students do things like run a coffee shop or run our marketing program. And I don't know how many years ago that the students took over doing the yearbook at EIS, but they've just done a tremendous job, and so they're here to present about that tonight. Mr. Scholl?
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 years ago, I think, when Jen and Mariah and I think Madeline and some different people were looking at our yearbook that we had over the course of, I don't know, probably similar to when we were in school. There hadn't been a lot of evolution in the area of elementary yearbooks. I mean, it was a few pictures. They came in one day, took pictures of all the classrooms, everybody's headshots in there, and that's about it. So I brought one of our old ones, but had this idea because it's one of those things in Edgewood. It's like if we see something where we can do better, we do better. And students often do better than adults sometimes when they're creating these things. So I also brought last year's yearbook. This is one of the new iterations of a student's yearbook that they have created with photographers and, you know, having some features in there about some different things that are happening throughout the year. There's a section on the renovation and Linda and Roxanne's retirement and just some really cool things that are in there. And so I want to invite them up to kind of talk about the story of how that yearbook has changed and photography and how that's been involved. So I'll bring them up this time. I'll let you take a look at these.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. I won't speak for too long, but just to reiterate what Mr. Scholl was saying, this is our third year with the yearbook being student-run. It was a passion project of Mrs. Barrett's. In addition to just having students be more involved, we really had a goal of making sure we had new students that maybe weren't a part of another group or club, have an opportunity to shine. And we wanted to make it as inclusive as possible. So not only do we have one group that stays after school to do the editing piece, but we have one piece of the group, half the group actually gives up their wonder time to be in this group, which eliminates the need for transportation. It eliminates a need for parent involvement, although, you know, that's a wonderful piece too. So it has evolved over the years, where the first year we had some very clunky cameras that didn't really take amazing pictures, and then Mrs. Barrett was able to find funding, so we have 3 very nice professional cameras that the students spend some time. Nora will be able to show it to you later, one of them. The high quality, and they have a little bit of a robust education at the beginning of how to treat it carefully and so that it can stick around for a while. But yeah, we have a lot to be proud of, and so with that, I'm going to bring up Willow, who's going to talk a little bit. Again, as I said, we have 2 parts. We have the photography group that's in charge of getting the photos, and then we have the editing group. So I'm going to bring up the photography group first, and Willow is going to talk a little bit about the 3 parts of the photography group.
Hi, my name is Willow Dimmick, and I'm a part of the photography club. I'm going to talk to you about the 3 jobs that we have. We have the photographers, the security, and the editors. The photographers roam around the school and take pictures of anything that seems that could catch their eye. It is really nice to have the cameras to take the pictures that will hopefully stay and last forever, or almost forever. But they take pictures of many things that they can find. They take pictures of the students, the staff members, and anything else that they find. The security officers will follow the photographers and make sure that if anyone comes running up while the photographers are taking pictures, to stop them immediately and ask them to wait. The editors will stay in the classroom and edit any pictures. They will name the pictures, delete any pictures that they don't think would suit the yearbook or are too blurry. They help with finding what could be good for the yearbook and not as well. They will name and delete pictures, and they try and do what's best for the yearbook.
Nice job, Willow. Very thorough. Wow. The only thing else I would like to add to that is they rotate. So if you are the photographer one week, you are the editor of those photos the next week. And if you're the security one week, you get to be the photographer the next week. And we just rotate. That way everybody gets a turn in each of those roles. Great job.
Hi, my name is Nora Wade, and I'm a part of the photography team. When the photographers go to take pictures, there are 3 of us able to take pictures because we have 3 cameras. They look like this. These cameras were able to be purchased thanks to the help of Mrs. Barrett. When we are out taking pictures, we like to find a balance of everyday school activities and special events. Some of the special events we've gotten to photograph so far are our 5th grade choir program singing at our Veteran Day program. Then we try to take everyday pictures of EIS students like students doing homework in Mrs. Olhorn's class. Or indoor recess students building Legos together, or other games like Twister. My personal favorite part of being a part of the yearbook club is taking photos because I love seeing what's going on in other classrooms, and I also like to see students excited to be a part of the yearbook.
Very nice.
So Nora did a great job there of talking about some of the pictures that they've taken. She picked some that the photography team have taken, so you can see the Veterans Day program and some of the pictures around the building. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about editing team. I'm Liz Dixon. This is my 2nd year sponsoring the editing team. Anna Dunn is helping me out this year too, and she's been our Ready Schools person for our grade level for the last couple years, and so she is a great addition because we work a lot with the online programming of taking these pictures. We use the Jostens website, and we have a 48-page yearbook that we're in charge of putting together then. So a lot of the pages are portrait ones that you can see as the yearbook comes around, and those are photography, like just the normal picture day, those photos get put in. But the kids get to make a lot of decisions about what else fills those pages, and then what do we do with the extras so that we have a full 48 pages. I don't want to give too much away of what they're going to talk about because there's some other fun decisions that they get to make as well. I will say we have Caleb and Harper are going to talk to us, and I want to make sure I don't miss anyone, but Charlie and Luke and Owen are here from the editing team as well to represent us. I'm going to let Caleb come on up and talk a little bit about editing team first.
Hi, my name is Caleb Newton. I will be explaining how we advertise our sales. In the Editors Club, when we worked on our advertisements for the yearbook, we all worked on our advertisements, and on some of them, we worked together. We spent the whole meeting that day working hard to get our flyers done. This will hopefully get us more sales and inform people of the good deal we are providing. I will also be explaining how we decided on our cover. Our school did a majority vote on the yearbook cover. The process we did to choose the cover was quite simple. First, all the editors went through 200-some covers and wrote down some they like. Then we all got another note card to write down our very favorite. These covers then go to a Google form, and then it is posted on Google Classroom. That's when the 5th grade students choose their favorite covers. Then we add each one up, and that's how we decided on the yearbook cover.
I think this is my favorite one ever.
They picked a
This
good
is
one.
so
They picked a great
cool.
one. Yeah.
So neat.
It does look so cool.
Hi, my name is Harper Purvis, and I'm a part of the editing team. I will be telling you about what we will be adding to our yearbook this year. First thing is that we will have a page all about the changes in our cafeteria. We now have ice cream for $1 each on Monday and Fridays, which has been a really big hit. Another new thing we will be showcasing in our yearbook is that we have an afternoon snack of fruit and veggies on Mondays and Wednesdays to help students try new foods. In order to decide what to include in our yearbook, we evaluated a list of things that were most exciting for the students.
So overall, thank you guys for letting us come and share about our club. These kids do amazing work. They are the ones that have all the big ideas that make the yearbook possible. I know that we wouldn't be able to come up with some of these ideas on our own, so they definitely lead the charge. We're in the middle of our season right now. We have January and February that we really start putting the book together. So they're just getting everything ready. We've got our cover, we've got some great pictures taken, and we're excited to hit the ground running next semester and really put that book together, and they are hard workers because of it. So thank you guys for hearing about us.
Thank you. I tell you, the difference in the yearbooks is quite amazing. You all do such a wonderful job of taking the pictures, selecting which ones to use. I just am so excited that to see the work that you've put together. I know you worked really hard for this.
And I'm sure Mr. Axiom at the high school is looking forward to these guys coming up and joining his yearbook staff too.
Yes, we hope so.
Yeah. We actually created a new journalism pathway at the high school because these guys are starting to come up through, and guess what? They're getting hit with Mrs. Air in junior high, and we have 40-some kids involved there in journalism, not to mention the yearbook, but then the yearbook class at the high school is part of the journalism pathway. So we're creating it all the way up through, so you guys have lots of opportunities if this is something that you really enjoy and want to continue to pursue. So amazing job.
Excellent.
Okay, great job, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Security detail.
That's so cool.
That guy there.
They did job. Nice job. This fits too. 'Cause they were there from day one of that building, of those buildings.
Oh, we know how to clear a room. Just take the kids out and
Yet on Miss Finch and Miss
kind
Stevens.
of the way it goes. Well,
So they were there from day one.
that was a great presentation.
Thanks. That's great.
We'll get down to business for the evening. We'll start with the consent agenda. This would be approval of minutes for the October 18th regular board meeting and also the October 18th work session. It includes the financial, the treasurer's report for November 2025. And Mr. Durnall, the claims, please.
Thank you, sir. For gross wages, mini payroll on November the 6th, 2025, $2,388.84 cents. For gross wages on November the 7th, 2025, $871,190.95 cents. For gross wages on November 21st, 2025, $866,894.81 cents. For gross wage stipends on November 28th, 2025, $498,770, for a total in that area of $2,329,244.60 cents. For vouchers from 11 pre-claims from November 1st through November 30th, $658,034.71. For claims regular vouchers for 12/16/2025 for $1,323,712.19. For a total in that area of $1,981,746.90, for a grand total of $4,220,991.50. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have personnel, resignations, retirements, non-renewals, leaves and terminations, C 1 through 28, and personnel appointments and transfers, D1 for 18. And after we vote on this, Dr. Sanders does want to mention a few folks. And also excited that we have a donation of $25 to Ready Schools Initiative from Patricia McCafferty and David Nickens. So do we have a motion?
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Sanders.
Yes, I just want to recognize a couple people. Kim Ford has been an EECC instructional assistant for 19 and a half years, and she's retiring to take care of her new grandchild. So that sounds pretty exciting. And then Bobby Wampler, who's been a custodian for RBB for 38 years. And he is retiring, and he's such a good guy, and we're going to miss him. So I just wanted to recognize those two folks.
I want to add to Mr. Wampler. He's one of the few people that he's worked third shift for 38 years.
Well, not quite.
Okay, that's what he was bragging to me about.
He started out on second shift when I started.
Okay.
He and Sam were second shift, and so they kept me going in the auditorium when I started.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, he likes that third shift.
He chose third shift. Yeah, I doubted his sanity.
He liked the
ever since,
quietness
but
of it, he said.
Well, what he said was he liked it because he could go hunting anytime he wanted. That's Bob. Great guy. Great.
Awesome. Thank you. We do have one supplemental personnel report. Dr. Sanders?
Yes, so we typically do the supplemental personnel report when we do a background check, and sometimes there are items that are on that background check that we want to bring before the board's attention, and so we've done that, and we recommend Barry Allen to be one of our new maintenance employees. And we just approved Garrett Ramsey, who will be the other new maintenance employee. So I just recommend your approval for Barry Allen.
I'll move approval.
I second.
Moved second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome to RBB. Consideration to approve the 2025-2026 teacher appraisal plan. And Jennifer Barrett will turn this over to you.
You had a copy of this in your board packet. This is the 25-26 teacher appraisal plan. This has been a work in development here over the last few months. We kept waiting for the state to come out and say, we need a copy of this, let's get it submitted. Nothing has come out in terms of that, so we're going to bring it to you later than normal, but still definitely put together. I have to give tremendous kudos to Megan Scott on this. Megan has worked tirelessly, hours upon hours upon hours. The teacher appraisal plan is very similar to what we did last year. It's the new pieces that we put together that took the place of the modified RISE. But where I want to draw your attention and why this took as long as it did is the rubrics that are at the end of this. You would have seen rubrics related to school psychologist, physical therapist, OT, SLP. The reason that took so much time is in the past we had generic rubrics that would tie to each of those professions that of course we have here at RBB. But this year what we did was we took those each of those professions and we took their standards of practice and then related that back to the rubric and tied our professionalism and the other pieces to it. So now when we look at a teacher and we're looking at NASOT, or New Art and Science of Teaching, we're also now as a physical therapist looking at their standards of practice. As an SLP in the corporation, we're looking at their standards of practice. So now we have rubrics that actually tie to the work that they are specifically doing with students in the district and making sure that we are evaluating them on what they actually do versus maybe a generic rubric that didn't necessarily fit them. So I'm excited about this. I think it's a good step forward as far as making sure that we are looking at each of our professionals in the district through a lens that is appropriate for them. So I ask for you to approve the 25-26 educator appraisal plan for all of our certified staff members.
I'll move approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I just appreciate all the work that went into this, and it was quite a slog getting through all of the
I bet, yeah.
all the different forms. But yeah, I just see this as another building block in getting to the high reliability schools, and I just think it's really important.
For sure. And if you had seen the shared document and how many comments and suggestions were on there from, Kara Glasscock or Carol Ann Grieb or, Stephanie Powell as a literacy coach, the teamwork that went into building these and making sure that they fit each of those professionals was phenomenal.
That's terrific.
So I actually got as much joy out of seeing that as I did the final project.
Yeah.
So very collaborative in how it was put together.
Yeah, I too was very impressed with just over how the process worked over the last year of the teachers and the administrators working together on this project and the broad-based input that came about. And I think in the end, we got a very good product.
I think so too. I've been hearing, we're starting to get requests from other corporations to come and present to them on what we've created here because now they are looking for an outside of the box growth and development model for not just their teachers, but as I said, other professionals who work in their district. And now that we're seeing the guidelines for the TAG grant that have come out, coaching and mentoring and all of these other pieces are very much a part of that. And if you don't have those in place, you aren't eligible for certain levels with the TAG grants. So somehow, I don't know if it was intentional, I can't say it was intentional, somehow we were ahead of the ball game on this. And it's come out to be a really positive thing for our corporation.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next is consideration to approve the Playworks contract.
The next one you have here is, it's a fun little contract. This one is for $3,350. We're looking at providing this professional development to our before and after school care employees. What we are finding is that our programming isn't quite up to the level that we would like for it to be before and after school. We have high expectations for our students as soon as they step on site, whether it's at 6:30 in the morning or they're staying until 6 o'clock in the evening. And so most of our employees who are before and after school care are IAs or they are high school students. And so we want to make sure that we're providing professional development in terms of how to manage groups of students like this, how to provide a playful environment for them, but a safe environment for them before and after school. So we're looking at implementing this, like I said, in February with your approval of this agreement.
I move approval.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Sounds like a great idea. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So next is Neola policy update. We're up to volume 38, and this is number 1 of that volume. This is a first reading, so it's just informational. Dr. Sanders?
Yes, so this is, as Mr. Kerr mentioned, first reading. Christine has already reviewed the policy and made some revisions. We also have the policy being reviewed by specific people, appropriate people in the corporation to get their input. And if there are any changes that are made, we will definitely get that before the board. But these are recommended by Neola, and they have a team of attorneys that review state law, review case law, and provide recommendations for revisions to our policy. And then we go through that and make sure that the policy is what we want for Edgewood schools. Some of the policies relate to board business, teacher appreciation grant, purchasing digital content, and several non-discrimination policies. So take a look at those over the next month. If you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll bring that back to you in January for your approval.
Speaking of the legal aspects, we did have the ISBA law seminar, and several went on to that. It was online because of the snowstorm. So next we have the consideration to approve the 2026 school board meeting calendar.
Yeah, this is an annual request every December. Basically, we set the board calendar dates for 2026, and you saw that in the board packet. Just so the board's aware, coming up on Tuesday, January 6th, we'll have our board organizational meeting. We'll have the Board of Finance meeting on January 20th, and our regular board meeting on January 20th. And then we always meet the third Tuesday of every month. And then when we get into September and October, we have board meetings that are focused on our next year's budget.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And our last action item is consideration to approve contracts for 3 individuals. And Dr. Sanders, if you want to walk us through that.
Yeah, so we had, usually the teachers begin the year with a status quo contract, and there were 3 teachers that, for whatever reason, were missed. And so we're bringing them to you tonight. This will be 2025, 2026 contract for Amy Arkelian, Carrie Kokenauer, and Carolyn Landgrebe.
I move approval.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll move to the business manager report, and we have Paul Federer for that this evening.
Good evening to everybody. At least it's warmer today. So.
Yes.
I wanted to point out in the cash flow to you, not a lot of changes there. We're now 11 months into the year. So this time in January, about this time of month, we'll look at 2025, see exactly where we ended. I think it's going to be pretty close to what we predict, probably about a $4 to $4.2 million cash balance in the education fund. And the operations fund is probably going to be up a little bit compared to last year, about $3 million. Now, I attached a third page that I want to spend some time with, because this is kind of a first, at least in my dealing with this. This is your budget. This is a 1782 notice. This was the second page. I didn't bring you the whole thing. But I penciled in there what it was in 2025, the budget, numbers for the debt service, the education, and the operations. And so you can see in 2026 that the budget went up in debt service by about $500,000. The budget in education went up $2 million. And I think I recall that I told you that I felt like the budget in 2025 was really too low. And it really was. And so we upped that to 22, and that's what they approved. That's what we asked for, and they approved that. So that should take care of the issue with the appropriation going forward into 2026. Then the operations fund was funded at $9.1 million. It was 8.9, and that's what I want to spend a little time with. You have to start to understand that budget and cash are two different things, very different, and it's easy to get them confused and tied to each other when they really aren't in some ways. As you know, the homestead credit thing took place now. You're going to lose $900,000 next year in that operations fund. $900,000, almost to the dollar. But yet they funded the budget we asked for. That 9.196 is what we asked for, and they gave it to us. So how are they funding that budget when they're keeping $900,000? They're doing it out of your cash balance. So if we spend that budget, 9.1, which we probably will, you're going to lose $900,000 in your cash balance by the end of next year. And you'll start to see that in the cash flow of 2026. Now, that's not going to be a problem in 2026. It's beyond that when it hits in 2027, and most certainly by 2028, where you're simply out of money because your cash balance is not going to continue to support that kind of cut every year. I've been told that 2027 is going to be a more severe cut than 2026. I don't know what that number is. But if it's more severe, then getting through 2027 could be a problem. So we'll handle it in 2026, but I want you to understand that's how they funded your budget. That's the change right now in Indiana. It's all due to the Homestead Credit Act. And so we deal with what we're given. And so keep that in mind, and we'll certainly keep you informed as the year goes on next year.
Paul, just for those who may be watching at home on this, this isn't just something that RBB is dealing with as far as the effect of the Homestead Act and what this is doing to our operations fund. This is something that every school across the state of Indiana is going to see this impact. Is that correct?
It's statewide.
Statewide.
It's statewide. It does affect school corporations differently. I was at one last night that I worked with, and they're losing $33,000. I mean, you know, it has a lot to do with, it's tied to your AV and it's tied to your levy. And if your AV is really high and your levy's pretty high, obviously your tax rate's up there. And so in a case like you where you're drawing in I think it was about $6 million in property tax money. You remember your transfer is paying for some of this. But when you're into $6 million in property tax money, then this kind of sits on that. Your tax rate's above $1, and that's what I'm seeing, is that tax rates are a little higher. They get after that more so than the school corporation where I was at. The tax rate's 79 cents. Yours is $1.03, $1.04. I'd have to go back and look, but it's above $1. And that's kind of what that's setting on. That's what I see. Not that you're way out of line. It's just, that's the way the act hits that program, so.
So with our transfers from the education fund, we just have to continue to transfer more and more?
Well, we had an interesting meeting today, and yes, we're gonna look at that. Because you can transfer up to 15% of your budget, and you're transferring at about 10 or 11%. So we're gonna have to look at that transfer to offset that 900,000 loss. And we can offset some of it, but we certainly can't get it all. There's no way. Now, you also, I didn't say, and probably should say, that you have one tax-supported fund that they can really get after, and that's operations. Debt service is debt service. If you take on debt, you're gonna pay it even if we screwed up the budget. They would make it right and pay your debt. They're gonna do that. But in operations, it's the only other fund, and so that's the one they went after. You tell me in operations what gets cheaper. Your utilities, your insurance, all that stuff that pays for custodial care, the custodians, the supplies for that. There is nothing in that fund that goes down. It all goes up. And every year it tends to go up. And that's why you were granted 4% increase in that fund every year in property taxes. They've also taken that away. Right now it's projected in 2027 to be zero. No increase in that fund. And they're taking $900,000. So it bears watching. And it's going to be a challenge.
Yes, I've read articles about schools across Indiana. Some schools that weren't as healthy as we are having severe issues, not being able to, have no idea how they're going to be able to provide transportation.
Oh, you're blessed in having a cash balance that's sufficient to cover 2026 and into 2027 some. But you can't keep doing that.
That's what makes us a shame, is that we work really hard to put our school corporation in a good spot, and the state comes along, and now we're having to consider cuts in our expenses that ultimately focus in on our services for students. And 90% of parents in the state of Indiana send their kids to public school. We need our parents to start notifying their state legislators that they need to take care of public schools so that we could take care of our community students.
One of the things I've noticed about your education fund, and it's really healthy, but it's a fund that's driven by enrollment. Simple as that. And so people have questioned me in other places about, well, why do you have such a big cash balance in your education fund? And it was almost $6 million at one time here. It's dropped some. But you have that because of enrollment. I mean, you never know from one year to the next whether your enrollment's up or down. And if it's down and you've gotten into teacher negotiations and done the right thing with teacher salaries, and all of a sudden you lose 50 kids or 100 kids, do the math again. And it gets real scary if you don't have that cash balance. It's kind of like what you're talking about in the operations fund. These schools that don't have a sufficient cash balance, they're already in trouble. And it's happening, so.
And we'll be in trouble soon enough.
Yeah. Paul, on that 15%, what is most, across the state of Indiana, are most of them doing the 15%? What do you see in your dealings around the state?
Yes,
So
they're closer. They may not be doing exactly 15.
We're at 11, right at 11%.
But the ones I'm dealing with are doing 13, 14%.
Okay.
It's pretty close to it.
15% is that's a
the
law,
budget.
statute?
Well,
You can't go above 15%?
you can't go above 15%. Now, there's talk right now about raising that. But again, you better have a very healthy education fund if you're going to start transferring more money than you have been into
Right.
that fund.
But it's kind of a shell game, because then you move
It
more
is,
more
yeah.
things into operations as far as positions and so forth.
Absolutely.
See, the state can give us a little bitty raise in the education fund and say, look what we're doing for schools.
Right.
And then they cut our operations in half and then say, okay, well, now you'll have to take that little bitty increase and put it in operations because you got to start filling that gap. And
Right.
so you really didn't get anywhere. And in total, it's very negative. I hope that there's some action groups out there that are gathering, to try to fight this, because it is a direct stab at public schools.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
You know, I wasn't aware until just a couple weeks ago, and I talked to Debbie today about it. They've already moved CVIT and the financial institutions tax out of debt service and moved it, so they're now instructed to put that into the operations fund. Okay, how do you build up your cash balance in debt service? In debt service, if you've got $5 million in debt, that's what you can raise. So how do you ever get a cash balance in there if you're going to take those miscellaneous taxes now and move them to operations? And I think they did it to kind of help offset what we're talking about here in the loss, but it's not a lot of money. If they get into excise tax and do that, we want to watch that, because excise tax is a bigger number. And so then debt service is really tied down to almost to the dollar of what you raise, and you got to have money to pay your debt. So there's, you talk about the shell game, here we go.
Right.
What are we doing? And so but we need people to talk about this.
Yep.
We really do. We'll weather 2026, but beyond that, all bets are off, I think.
Well, thank you for
Thank
bringing
you, I
it
think.
to all the,
Well, then add too, you still have the curricular mandates that you're asked to change certain things, like with the pathways, without additional funding.
Without additional funding and not allowed
So
to
it's a-
charge families anything.
An unfunded mandate, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
thank you. Scary times.
Yes, it is.
Okay, next we have the Assistant Superintendent's report. Mr. Bear?
Well, I love following Paul because he always brings the wonderful news, and I get to bring the even better news. While Paul is talking about funds that we are losing, I'm talking about funds that we're gaining. So I have some good news here. A month or two ago, I talked about a grant that we applied for, another mental health grant, that, there's no way the USDOE is going to fund us again. But we received word last week that they did. We received the SEEDS project grant. This is Strengthening Early Childhood Emotional Development in Schools. This is a PK through 2 grant. Essentially what we're doing here is we are looking to get down into those lower grades, as low as we can get, 3, 4, 5-year-olds, and start addressing some of those emotional dysregulations, things that, I know it sounds crazy, but we have 3 and 4-year-olds who come to us with significant trauma that they are trying to process in their tiny little brains. And so we're going to get some help down into EECC, additional help at EPS. This grant starts funding January 1 and will last through December 31st of 2029. You can see there the amounts, roughly over $700,000 each year, for a total of just over $2.9 million. This is a continued partnership with IU's School Psychology Department, and we're looking at hiring 2 licensed school psychologists and up to 3 school psychologists in training. We'll be able to provide schooling. It's a 4-year commitment for those school psychologists in training. So 5 additional personnel down there with our PK through 2 students. In addition to that, apparently the DOE was in the mood to give out money. We received an email saying that not only did we receive a continuation on our SMART grant, which is a current grant that we have, but they also allotted an additional $700,000 to us in this grant. So this is great news. We were trying to figure out how we were going to absorb 3 employees who were on the SMART grant. in 2027. The nice thing is, we now can put that off and kick that can down the road until 2028, which makes me really happy given the news that Paul had for us this evening. We also received a continuation of the Indiana Department of Ed Career Coaching Grant. This is through ROI. This is the grant that funds Susan Harrington's crucial position. She's the career coach at EHS. So this funding is January 1st through June 30th of 27. Again, this is a position that has become absolutely crucial to the work that we're doing with the new diplomas, the new pathways, and the work that Susan does there is just phenomenal. So that's exciting. Those are some good updates about money that's coming into our corporation, and we're looking at then how we can sustain those positions even into, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but even into 2030, we have some ideas about how these positions can be absorbed. And we're kind of planning ahead. We have school psychologists in our corporation currently who are kind of in that 4, 5, 6-year timeline for retirement. Finding a school psychologist, Noah Dixon can tell you, is not the easiest position to fill. And so what we're essentially doing is training our own employees who are interested in that field but don't necessarily have the funds to be able to go back and provide schooling for that as far as a master's go. We're setting ourselves up to be able to backfill those positions. So we're looking ahead down the road, and I'm excited about what this could offer to our students and our community here in the, I say near future, but 4, 5, 6 years down the road. In addition, we have 23 teachers so far who have applied for the TAG grant. The final date for applications is January 9th, and we'll be able to give a total of 26, 27, $3,500 awards. The reason I can't give you the exact amount is, of course, TURF and FICA will come out of those as well. So right now, if we don't have another person apply, every single one of those teachers would receive a $3,500 grant. So I can't wait for that day for those names to be drawn and those teachers to be celebrated. We hosted our first off-site leadership meeting for Boston Scientific on December 9th. They actually brought about 45 managers, directors, corporate personnel on site to EHS. We had presentations from student-run business managers from the Coffee Corral, from the ILC, Mustang Marketing. Our SAC students who came and presented to us a month or so ago gave their presentation, tweaked that a little bit, and it was one of the best collaborative days I've seen in a long time. I think that our students learned a lot from their leadership team, but I think more than anything, their leadership team learned a lot from our students in terms of how we approach problems, how students at that age approach problems. It was absolutely phenomenal. So we were really pleased with how that day went. On top of that, we're going to be starting our HRS Level 2 surveys on January 5th, so it's time to step into that next role. We've paid out of Title II to get that started, and so ready or not, here we go on round 2, Level 2. So exciting stuff happening in all of these aspects, and despite what's happening at the state level, I'm excited that we're continuing to move forward as a district and look ahead and continue to think about how we're servicing our students at the highest level we possibly can. And so I think that's what makes us Edgewood, and I'm proud of our team for that.
And do want to point out that these grant funds are for specific things.
Yes.
They're not just, hey, here's some money that you can boost your education
Man,
fund
if
with.
they were, Mr.
They
Kerr.
are very specific.
They are very, very specific. When we write this budget, it is incredibly specific about what we are writing it for. When the grants are introduced, it's very specific in terms of what we can write for. So yes, I wish that we could spread these out and take care of some of the deficits. I wish we could spread it out across Operations Fund, but unfortunately, that is not how this works. Anytime we make any change to this, I have to go through a ton of paperwork to get approval for any type of change to that budget. So, no, unfortunately, we can't fill in any gaps there, but The important piece is that we are filling in gaps that we have identified. And I would say this is how Edgewood goes above and beyond. I don't know many school corporations that are focused on their 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And to say that that is a focus for us in our preschool, I challenge another school in the state to say that that's an area that they are pouring millions of dollars into. And I know that by doing that, those students are going to be more ready, more prepared going into kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, which we know then impacts them from that point forward. So, no, you're right, very specific, but man, it's an exciting piece for those guys as well.
Yeah, it's, I just wanted people at home to realize that doesn't fill any gaps.
Yes,
Doesn't fix any
yes.
problem.
No, not at all.
And this is a federal grant, correct?
Yes, both of these first two, Seeds and SMART, are federal grants, federal funds. And going back to what Mr. Kerr said, it's actually really difficult for us if we get behind on these grants in any way to be able to spend this money because it is so specific. The grant that will start January 1, the Seeds grant, even though it starts January 1 and we can start pulling funds at that point in time, we actually won't hire the people for this grant until the start of next school year. So we essentially start behind the game before we ever take our first straw on this. So it's a tough one. Yeah, I did not realize when Jennifer Anderson left and she passed mental health over to me just how much time I would be spending on this side of the work that we do. Important work, but I did not understand just how much time would be spent on it.
So in year 1, if you aren't able to spend all that because just hiring, do you lose?
We do not. It goes into carryover funds. And at that point, for instance, now what I'm looking at doing with carryover funds on SMART is we're looking at hiring additional personnel for K2 and 3-5 to finish out the rest of this grant. There's no reason not to. And that's kind of where we're at with this. So Jordan Truax just interviewed a backfill position for Luke Roman, who moved into a kindergarten position. And in those interviews, we found another person or two that we would love to hire and use some of these carryover funds for the next couple of years.
Good. Okay, thank you.
And you cannot use these funds, like if we have to cut back on staffing because of our budget, we can't use this to backfill it.
I sure wish we could, but we cannot.
So we just cut the people, but we're still replacing them.
I understand what you're
See what I'm
saying.
saying with what you're
Yes,
saying?
as long
I'm
as
thinking it's-
these people are still on, as long as we still have the funds for SMART Grant, we can still utilize those for personnel. I can't
Okay.
go ahead and take our RBB personnel, well, I take
You
that
can't-
back.
can
I
take-
could take our RBB personnel and move them over. The problem with doing that is at some point in time, I would need to move them back over into education fund or operations fund, wherever they might be coming from. The problem with that is, yes, we would be using those carryover funds now, but we would need to leave room in the education fund to be able to move them back in 2 years. So, yes, it might solve a problem now, but it creates a problem in 2 years.
Right.
And we've considered that. Is it worth going ahead and doing that and using some of these carryover funds? My fear with that then is the issues that we're already having and experiencing with education fund. I don't want to create another issue in 2 years.
Right.
And basically be kicking a problem down the road. So keep those people where we have them on education fund. Make sure that we carve that out, make sure that we can protect that, and provide the additional support while we can right now, with no promises for what will happen. The positions that we've posted with the SMART grant, we've made sure to say this is for the life of the grant. There is no promise beyond that. And we've had some great applicants who say, you know what, give me the experience, give me the 3 semesters, 4 semesters, whatever that might be, not knowing what that would look like after the grant expires.
But then they could reapply for using these funds.
They could reapply
Right.
if we
Okay.
had openings in Seeds grant, if we had a guidance counselor opening. a lot of options there.
Okay.
It's hard to predict what 2 years down the road might look like. For instance, we just brought Jessica Siglin, who was on the SMART grant. We moved her from a K-2 position. She backfilled Dennis Faust. So we were able to move one person off of that grant a little early, move into the education fund where Dennis was being funded. And then what we did was backfill that position for a short period of time. So we're doing a lot of juggling here, is
Right.
basically what we're doing, and trying to use the funds wisely, but not create issues for ourselves down the road.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And now the superintendent's report, Dr. Sanders.
Yeah, I don't know if the board realizes it, but our average time for ending a school board meeting is 7:30. So the way I figure it, I have
I thought it was
35
7:05.
minutes for my report. No,
If you don't get this as a blank stare.
I want to give a few shout outs. First of all, I just want to thank Paul. We did have it was a challenging conversation today, and it's challenging. We're facing a challenging time over the next few years, and it's just nice to have somebody like Paul to guide us and direct us, and so I just want to say thank you, Paul. I also want to,
Just to back up on that, too, is that we are going to have to do something. And so we are going to be looking into what we have to do, but we have to do something. We can't absorb this hit. We have to do something.
right,
So something will be coming, don't know what,
yeah.
but something will.
Yeah. Serious conversations ahead. I also want to really, they're not here, but if you see one of our maintenance crew led by Arnold Caldwell, who, by the way, Arnold became a grandpa today. So congratulations to Arnold. But they've been really knocking it out in terms of clearing our lots and sidewalks, and they came out Saturday evening, I think around 6 o'clock, and really worked hard to get everything ready for TIS, the season performances. We had to postpone that Saturday nights to Sunday night, and they came out and knocked that out, and I just really appreciate that. First on my list, and this is the shout I intended to begin with, but I really enjoy every December going to see the different programs, whether it's first, fifth grade. Tomorrow night is second grade. Dana, you going to that? Put you on the spot.
I hope so. There's a work meeting.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try to
Well,
avoid.
we had band and choir programs at the junior high, and just listening like to the band, these junior high band students, it's no wonder we win state championship every year, because I'm listening to those junior high band students and thinking, these guys sound great. I mean, very talented. And then, of course, our TIS program that we had Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, that takes a lot of hard work, not just our students who are very talented, very dedicated, but also to Brian Paulson and his crew, and our parents, dad crews who come out, and it's a lot of hard work, but it really puts a good light out there for Edgewood schools. So I just wanted to recognize them. And you know, we do a podcast every month, and Gracie Turner, she created this little logo that kind of brings a little more attention to the podcast, so I appreciate that. But I want you to, if you have a chance, listen to the last podcast that I did. I spoke about the highlights of the year 2025, and if you listen to that, especially someone from the community, a prospective parent from the community, you listen to that, it really tells our story and tells what amazing things that our students are doing. And so I wanted to point that out to the board and the community tonight. Update on the biomedical life sciences training project. The board was notified by Jennifer Barrett that we did receive state approval for Ready 2.0 funds. That's $500,000 that will go towards the project. And a meeting I'm excited about coming up on January 6th. We have David Rogers, who's with IU Health and IU. He's going to meet with Lancer Architects on that date. And David is, he works with hospitals, educational organizations all across the country on developing sim labs. And we want to get his input as we're thinking about and meeting with the architect on designing these biomedical labs. He's going to sit down with our architect and give him some direction and guidance on what that room needs to look like. And so I'm very excited about that meeting. And then I didn't put the dates down there, but the High Reliability Schools Institute is January 11th through the 14th. We will be taking 11 teachers, 1 counselor, and 3 administrators to the conference, and I'm going to be going this time. And the exciting piece about this trip to San Antonio is we'll have some very dedicated, hardworking people from EIS, the junior high, and the high school will be going and they'll be recognized for their level 1 certifications. And I already got my applause all ready for that, so exciting times.
Yep.
Yep, sure is. Now we have RBBEA comments.
Ty McGinnis.
Time begins.
Good evening. We don't have a whole lot today, just saying that we're looking forward to hearing the legislative priorities that ISTA has to give us for this upcoming year, and just wanted to telegraph that days of action are going to be really important to us this year, and trying to get as many people up and mobilized as possible.
Thank you very much. Now we have board member comments, and I'll start with Angie Jacobs.
Well, I am concerned about what's going to be happening with our corporation over the next few years, as well as the whole state of Indiana. So, reiterating that folks need to really hit our legislators and pushing that, we've got to be able to take care of our kids, and taking these funds away is very concerning. I'm very excited about the grants that have come in. That's extremely exciting. Always starting with littles that come starting their young little lives with much trauma, and beginning with them at those young ages is going to give them 2 or 3 steps forward than what they would have had without these implementations of personnel. So I'm very excited to hear that. And I love, obviously, always seeing our students come in and show us what they do. They're so amazing. It's unbelievable at their age of the things that they are accomplishing, and that those highlights are what we need to continue to put out to our county, showing what our kids are doing, because not every school's doing that, and we have a lot to offer children at our school. So I'm very happy to see them. Thank you for the donations. We always need donations anytime that we can get them for our classrooms, and I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you next year.
Mr. Tucker.
Ditto what Ms. Jacobs said. I have some great concerns about where the state's going with our budget, and Mr. McGinnis, I hope the ISTA has a very loud voice this year at the legislature, because it's going to take those pockets of groups to get the attention of the legislators. It's not going to be one person calling a legislator. It's going to be a massive people in a group to chat with them about our concerns. Administrator, thanks for all you guys do. I know you had a long first semester. Thanks for coming out tonight, and thanks to all the teachers as well. I had 2 epiphanies over the weekend, and really made me feel good about what we do here. Well, one of them I got in trouble on. We have some problems, Dr. Sanders, with our scales at the Cookie Corral or whatever it was called where you buy it by the pound. I bought a pound. I got home. My wife questioned me, and I weighed 3/4 of a pound. So something happened between here and home. I'm not sure what. But the second thing, and this one really hit home, was when I was walking around the corner of the building. It was stinking cold Sunday afternoon, and there was one of our maintenance staffs out shoveling the sidewalk. And I introduced myself. I said, I've not met you before. He goes, well, I was here, and I left. I went to a bigger school corporation, and I came back. And I said, what? I'm just curious, why would you come back? He goes, because here I'm a person, not a number. And that just hit home. And I think that's what's great about our school system. Every kid is a person, and we try to treat and help every kid that they send us. So happy holidays.
Mr. Darnell.
Thank you, sir. Yes, 'tis the season was great, but the highlight of the evening was these 12 days of Christmas. And our friendly superintendent had 5 or 6, 7, 8 really pretty good jokes, and he got.
6 or 7, right?
He would get on, they say, this is your friendly superintendent at 5 o'clock in the morning. Little did he know that this morning, he would get a 5 o'clock call from me for our situation. But it was really nice. I really appreciate it. I knew this was coming, Paul. I figured it because the town is going through very similar things. You know, they've tore us up on our budget, and we can't replace people now, and you know, it's really sad. So hoping something turns in our direction for too much longer. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. McGinnis, I hope you will keep in communication with Mr. Brewer and myself on your, because we're also planning on doing some days of action, so, and we have some people that we can call on, so, and it is going to be, and I think we have evidence that making enough noise makes a difference with what happened with redistricting last week. I do want to object that, once again, Dr. Sanders got more laughs than I did during the 12 pains. But I also, he told me before the meeting that he had forgotten that the lights go out when I get to the 11th day, and so he thought something had really gone wrong. It was my doing. But thanks to everybody. I was so encouraged, the looks on the intermediate students' faces talking about the yearbook. You could tell they were engaged and excited and really into it, and I think it's going to make payoff down the road. So I'm looking forward to it, and happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you. I, of course, echo what everyone has said. I do ask that people do whatever you can. Talk to your representatives and senators and let them know that, you know, the schools are taking a hard hit and they've got to do something to turn that around. So the louder, as Jamal said, the louder we shout and the more that shout, the bigger chance we have of making an impact. So we ask you to do that. Again, something that we don't want to do is change who we are. And so, you know, we're going to have to look at other choices of how to fill this gap that's going to be there. And they may, usually when you do that, there's never a great choice. It's always, you know, something that some people won't like. So we don't know what it is at this point, but hopefully the legislature will change so we don't have to take those kind of steps. So that would be great. Yeah, the Edgewood Intermediate students, it is always a joy to have the students come and talk to us and to see the joy that's on their faces, you know, that they're engaged, they do enjoy what they're doing, that the work that they showed from the yearbook for last year was phenomenal. I mean, that's great. I'm pretty sure it's better than any high school yearbook I was ever in, but, so it's a ways away. But again, I appreciate them, and I just, you know, thank everybody in the school corporation for doing what you do and keeping the school going each and every day and keeping the students engaged each and every day. And it takes everyone in the corporation to make that happen. So we appreciate all of you. And I want to give a shout out to Christine. Thank you for being with us and guiding us and keeping us inside our lane, so to speak. And I thank Katz for coming out and being with us tonight. And I do wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays as well. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.